Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the San Joaquin County Civil Service Commission meeting, December 14th, 2022 at 2:30. We're going to start with roll call, and then I'll ask Ms. Hopkins to take us through the
All right,
agenda.
thank you. Thank you. Roll call, Commissioner Lostrom.
Here.
Commissioner Gutierrez.
Here.
Commissioner Ramos.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I can do the first one, I guess, the approval of minutes of the November 30th, 2022 special meeting. Assuming you've all read, do we have any comments or changes?
No comments.
I'll entertain a motion to approve.
A motion.
I second the motion.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those who are in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And the motion's passed. Thank you. And now Ms. Hopkins. Thanks.
Thank you, Chair. We'll start this afternoon with reports of disciplinary action. There are none to report under reduction in salary. We do not have any to report under dismissal. Under demotion, we have one to report for the Department of Public Works. There is no appeal. Nothing to report under suspension. Moving on to subsection 3, communications. We do not have any communications to report to the commission for this meeting. Under section 4, old business, there is no old business for the commission to consider for this meeting. Section 5, under new business, under subsection A, amendment of class specifications, we have 2 this afternoon for the commission to consider. The first one is classification project 22-007. This is for the Veteran Service Office, and it's to amend the classification specifications for Veteran Service Representative 1 and Veteran Service Representative 2. Amy Brimmer, our classification manager, will speak to these. Ms. Brimmer?
Thank you. Good afternoon, Commissioners. Amy Brimmer, Human Resources Analyst. The Veterans Service Office requested that Human Resources expand the minimum qualifications by which an applicant for the Veterans Service Representative 1 may qualify for hire into this entry-level classification. In collaboration with the Veterans Services Officer and leadership from the Healthcare Services Agency, Human Resources arrived at the proposed amendments before you. These amendments include the requested changes to Veterans Services Representative 1 and also edits to Veterans Service Representative 2 for consistency and to offer more clarity with regard to obtaining required training and accreditation. Minimum qualifications at both levels are expanded with more examples of the fields in which experience may be gained. In addition, what is known as lived experience is being added to acknowledge that an applicant who has navigated benefits from a customer perspective can possess the skills needed to successfully enter as a Veteran Service Representative 1. Special requirements at each respective level are more clearly articulated and now include language standard to other classifications requiring obtaining certification or training as a contingency of continued employment. Other changes include reinforcing the travel requirements at both levels, since incumbents can make trips to locations as often as on a daily basis. We also added the ADA disclosure and reference to the role a Veteran Service Representative 2 may have in training and leading newly hired representatives. SEIU was notified of our intent to present this study at today's meeting, as well as provided a copy of the specifications on November 30th and did not respond with any objections or concerns. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have at this time. And we also have Veteran Services Officer Susan Fahey available and participating remotely should you have questions of the department.
Thank you, Ms. Brimmer. I myself don't have any questions. It seemed clear to me, but perhaps one of the other commissioners wants to ask something?
No, I have no questions.
I don't have a question. Well, it is a question on page 3 on Veteran Service Representative 1 under minimum qualifications. The bottom portion where it says or 2, 1 year of technical administrative experience, in government, military, or the field similar to healthcare, social services, disability insurance. Now, I come from an insurance background, so the question there is the experience in disability insurance on the sales side, claim side, or is it open? That was the only question I had there.
Sure, that's a good question. In this context, it would be on the claims side, Commissioner Ramos.
Okay, so maybe add in disability insurance claims, because if I'm an insurance salesperson that sells a disability insurance, then that would make me qualified.
That does seem reasonable, thank you.
We would need to add that to the motion, Chair.
Okay, thank you. So I can entertain a motion to approve classification project 22-007 to amend the classification specifications for the Veteran Service Representatives 1 and 2 as amended. Do I hear someone want to make that motion?
To make the motion or second it?
No, I didn't actually make it. I just said
Okay,
I'll entertain it.
I'll make the motion.
Is the motion then to add claims, disability insurance? Is that, yeah?
Yeah,
Okay.
and to approve it. To approve it,
Right.
adding that word.
Okay, yeah, I'll second the motion.
Okay. All those in favor say aye,
Aye.
and opposed, no, and the motion passes.
Thank you, Commissioners. Our second amendment of class specifications this afternoon is classification project 22-006. This is for San Joaquin General Hospital, and this is to amend the class specification for therapist aid. Ms. Brimmer will also present this item.
Thank you. Therapist aid is a paraprofessional classification used by San Joaquin General Hospital to support the work of physical and occupational therapists, audiologists, and speech and language pathologists. In May 2021, the hospital requested a classification study to update the therapist aid class specification. Specifically, audiology had not been listed as a type of therapeutic treatment provided by incumbents. The hospital also asked to have language added regarding compliance with state of California regulations, whereby applicants would be informed that upon hire, they would be registered with the state and enrolled in a training and evaluation program. In addition, since the specification had not been updated in approximately 25 years, a physical and mental requirements section is being added along with the ADA disclosure. Human Resources has made these changes and is asking that you adopt the recommended amendments to the therapist aid classification. On November 23rd, the draft class specification was shared with SEIU, and the union took no issue with the proposed changes. Therapy Services Department Manager Siri Felix from the hospital and I are both available should you have questions.
Thank you, Ms. Brimmer. Are there any comments or questions?
And for me?
I have one. I just was wondering, let's see, on this, it's what page would it be? I guess the first page of the therapist aid. Pattern 2, minimum qualifications, 6 months of experience as a nursing assistant, public health assistant, or comparable class in San Joaquin County. Does that mean comparable class in our employees' class? Is that
Yes, that's correct.
Is that right?
The in San Joaquin County is the qualifier for that, yes.
Oh, but it's just on our county. We don't accept them from other counties?
So the preceding pattern number 1
Mm-hmm.
would qualify someone from an external background. And also pattern 3 with that specified education.
Well, I was just wondering if like Stanislaus County, or Sacramento County had a comparable class, and the person had experience there, would that, it just says in San Joaquin County, so it's just,
Jennifer, do you want to address that from Employment Services perspective?
Good afternoon, Jennifer Goodman, Assistant Director. So as you'll note in that second pattern, it's talking about the nursing assistant, the public health assistant, or a comparable class in the county. The first pattern, as Amy was mentioning, it kind of mirrors that. So the first one, it requires experience assisting in those areas. And it's not uncommon for the county to look for, in that internal pattern, that pattern two, to look for some promotional opportunities or some career ladders for our existing employees. And so there's times when we will have, like a direct, exact inside and outside pattern. And other times that internal pattern has been built to provide that internal promotional opportunities. So it's likely that there are people who are assisting our therapist aides who are in those classifications, and we use that comparable class to provide some flexibility, so in the future, if there's a different level of classification that's used in the county, we don't end up excluding someone just based on a job title.
okay. The other question I have is, on the second page of that, where knowledge of effective body mechanics, where it's talking about that. And the last part is Quest Relations Basic Record-Keeping Principles. What is
I think it says guest,
guest?
correct?
It should read as a G.
Oh. I guess I've looked at it as a Q, huh? Guest relations, okay. Basic record-keeping principles. That's like, excuse me, someone that's been working in a hotel business or something like that with guest relations? Is that,
Probably the clients or the patients as referred to as guest.
oh, this is knowledge of all of that. Okay, I understand now. Okay. That's all the questions I have.
Before you make a motion, there's one notice. We didn't review minimum qualifications for this particular project. However, it was pointed out, as I mentioned earlier, in pattern 3, that may better likely read as an education pattern as opposed to experience.
Oh, yeah.
So if it pleases the commission and you want to include that in the motion, we can do that. Great.
If there's no other questions, I will do that. I'll make a motion and make with that in being education, changing that from experience to education, to approve the amended classification.
I second that motion.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, no. The motion passes.
Thank you, Commissioners. Under subsection B of new business, we have adoption of class specifications. For this afternoon, for the Commission's consideration, we have classification project 22-005. This is for the General Services Department, and it's to adopt the class specification for property manager. Ms. Bremer will also be presenting this item.
Our third and final project is for establishing a new classification. It was requested by General Services in April 2021 to determine if a position assigned to the county's Management Analyst 2 classification was appropriate, and if not, to assign a different class. The subject position was unencumbered at the time Human Resources conducted the study, and results indicated that due to the specialized nature of the work focusing on property management, a more specific skill set derived from direct experience in real estate, or more specifically property management, would garner more successful candidate pools. So based on the data collected through job analysis, Human Resources worked with General Services to create a property manager classification that defines the training and experience required at entry into the class. This also allowed staff to write a set of duties, statements, and characteristics specific to the position assignment, as opposed to the more broadly written Management Analyst 2, which focuses more on position characteristics than subject matter or a particular area of assignment. On November 23rd, SEIU was provided the class specification before you and took no issue with the class as proposed. Connie Hart, Assistant Director of General Services, is available here in person should you have questions of the requesting department. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Brimmer. Any comments or questions from the commissioners?
No comments or questions.
I have, this is a very big job, isn't it? In fact, someone that'll be reporting sometimes directly to the Board of Supervisors on buying, leasing. I'm surprised that we didn't have anyone with this kind of experience already, or this position. I was just wondering, what is the pay rate range for someone in this position?
So at this point, we get the classification specification itself settled on, and then that is what we use to then move forward and establish salary and pay for that. So we have not determined pay at this point, but the Board of Supervisors will take that forward in the future, and the Board of Supervisors will.
Decide that, huh?
Yeah, so for the commissioners to understand, once the classification is approved, that is considered a term and condition of employment. Just, you are aware, Commissioner Gutierrez, and we'll have to negotiate that with SEIU, and then we return to the board with the class spec and the salary.
Oh, okay, good. Thank you very much.
No other comments? Okay. Yeah, it sounded like a fun job to me. I thought it was pretty nice description. Okay, so does anyone want to make a motion?
I motion to pass.
And the second?
Yeah, I'll second the motion. That's to adopt the classification specification of property manager, huh? Okay.
Okay.
I second it.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
No one opposed, and the motion is passed. Thank you.
Thank you, commissioners. There are no classification studies for the commission to consider this afternoon, and we do not have any specific staff reports. Under subsection E, request for appeal hearings, we do not have any appeal hearings to consider under any of our rules today. And we do not need to set any dates of appeals. That brings us to public comment, so I'll check in with Ms. Strange to see if we have any public comment.
There is no public comment.
Thank you. We have our future meeting dates. Our next Civil Service Commission meeting is set for January 11th at 2:30 p.m. in the Administration Building here located at 44 North San Joaquin Street, room 146. We do have our commission dates for 2023, and they are as follows: February 8th, March 8th, April 12th, May 10th, June 14th, July 12th, August 9th, September 13th, October 11th, November 8th, and December 13th. We do not have any appeal hearings set for this afternoon, nor do we have closed session. So Chair, I will request that you adjourn the meeting unless there's any other business the commission has.
None that I know of, so our meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
Happy holidays, everybody.